strings, and that was a good session, I believe. So this is all we discussed yesterday, and we did about. I'm just quickly recapping. Meanwhile, others might join. So we know we have seen different ways of declaring string, and then string indexing. Every string internally has indexing. It has both forward and backward. Forward in sense positive indexing, negative indexing, and we tested many examples yesterday, right? So you can see here, and accessing a string through using index. You can see this is how we access characters from a string using index. We have seen that yesterday, and this is how indexing. We have indexing for a string, starts with 0, ends with the n minus 1. Similarly, it starts with minus n to minus 1 or minus 1 to 6. So you can see that in any way. And we can extract string both in left to right or right to left. But if you are extracting from in a reverse direction, then you have to apply a step that we had discussed yesterday. I hope all these are clear for you. And iterating a string, printing character by character. This I think we can, we can quickly test it. So I think we had tested this even how to iterate a string. So we can just pass string here in the as a source parameter, and this is actually a destination parameter. This is dummy variable otherwise. Every time loop iterates, one character from string is copied to this, and then we print that, and you can see it's worked like this. And the very important thing yesterday on strings is we discussed about slicing, extracting a part or a substring. And this is how slicing look like. You can see here, the syntax of slicing is this, that string variable name and start index and end index. And based on the indexes, we apply slicing, something like this. So we had discussed all that, how to apply slicing using positive indexes, negative indexes, mixed indexes. We tried everything yesterday. So I hope you got that. But with a different example. But these examples might be different, but the concept is same. So this is all we had discussed, I believe, and also we had discussed quick hacks in slicing. Suppose there are times where we can skip providing the start index or end index or both indexes. We have also observed those cases. So we have covered almost all scenarios related to slicing. So that should help you if you start applying on some examples. So that's it, friends. So you can see this is all about how we specify indexing. So we had discussed this as well. And one scenario for you is, while usually most of the times the requirements I have here is while I work in my project is we have actually a file format with date included in that file format. Right, date is also part of that file format. We should extract only that dates, right? And then rest of the thing we should skip it. From that file name, what if this is some file name, something like this, something like file name equal to, this is one scenario where I should apply a slicing. That file name can be, sometimes this dates might be end of file. Sometimes this date will be in the middle of file. Sometimes this date will be at the start of file. So what is the requirement generally we keep doing is in my day-to-day work. This is one thing which I need to keep doing. Even I'm working on one automation right now. So we deal with a lot of dates actually. So because we store data in the form of something like dates, right? We try to run our application and store data in the form of a date format. Of course, that date is nothing but a directory where it has data inside that. But that data we put it into a date format. You got it right. So this is file name one. File name two look like this, something like suppose same date. So Control X. Control V. Of course, we can change it to 2024, and then today is what? Today is 12, and then maybe 12, right? Same thing we can apply here. Again here. This is a requirement. Maybe you give a try on this, friends. Just also sometimes we get a date in the middle of file name 3. Now you have to slice this and then get this something like this. Anytime, what is the point is these file names we should slice and dice and that and get that exact dates, because so that we can archive that dates. You got it right, friends? So to do archiving, most of because you are from data engineering, the meaning of archive. So if we should archive from that database, so we do this kind of slicing on file names. So I'll just share this with you. Apply your slicing. This is a simple scenario. Let me share this with you. Apply slicing and extract exact dates from these 3 file names. So this is a te small testing for you. Okay, you can test it yourself because we know slicing now. Where to apply slice, where to start slice, where to end slice. Sometimes for us it will also be like this, something like hyphen separated. Okay, date will be hyphen separated. I'm sharing one scenario where we regularly apply slicing. Got it right, friends? Like this. Okay. This is one scenario where I need slicing. Also, there is one scenario, one more I'll share with you, a real-time scenario where we keep working so that it helps you. That's why I'm it to gain more insight into slicing. Suppose we have database and then we have folder structure like this, some ABC slash BBC slash, okay, XYG slash, it keeps going. Sometimes the depth of folder structure might be dynamic. For some folders, it will be depth of 3 or depth of 4 or depth of 5. Means it might have 4 subfolders, 3 subfolders, 2 subfolders. But at some point, each subfolder will have a date inside. That's something like this. Today's date is this. Data, whatever we try to archive, will be stored in this date format. Now again, requirement is suppose I am doing a validation. So what is that I should do? I should I should apply a kind of this thing validation. So to get this date information, what is that? We have to start from the beginning of this thing. For that, like there is a method. There are certain methods to start from the beginning of folder and to the end of folder. There is a walk method, what we call. Even in so we have something proprietary, but the concept of walk is same. Even in OS operating system, if you want to walk through folders from start to end, there is something called OS.walk. You got it right? So similarly, we have something specific to our API. Okay, you don't need that, but an idea. So what is that we do? We have to split this whole this whole file. I mean path. This is a path. This whole path we should split it. This is access. This is a string actually because we are in string topic, so that you get some idea like how we apply this slicing, right? This whole path is a string. We should split this and we should see if cob exists in this path, right? So obviously cob will be the end. That would be the last thing in our this one in our path in our folder structure. So what do we have to do? Here we apply certain things. Of course, we are going to learn all this. We split this string by slash. Okay. You don't need to understand anything. I'm only just giving you an idea and also compare this. If the last folder has a cob, a validation, that we generally apply a quick regex. Anywhere we can get it in Google. Okay, if we just ask this, we get that how to validate this with the regular expression. Okay, and we split it and we extract it. Okay, this is one scenario. Like this, we do different operations. Okay. Now for this, again, this is all string kind of handling we do regularly, friends. Just an FYI. Okay, let's get into that now. So this you try to get it. I gave you some.
Actually,
Yes,
we don't have any reverse function. Here we can reverse, it
we
will
do.
come to this one.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for asking this question. See, one important thing after this, I'll talk about that. There is something called. So this is all. Once we start here, I see when you talk about string, we don't have direct reverse. We don't have what who I cannot see the name, but whoever it is, we don't have direct reverse. Why me? If you ask me why, first thing I'll answer that, and we will also talk discussing how to reverse a string as well. So first thing, a string is immutable. This we should discuss now. This is very important discussion. You need to understand this. String is immutable means we cannot modify a string object. Even the same thing is even string is same in Java or C sharp if you are from other different OOP languages. But everything in Python is object. Everything, even the basic data types are primitives in Python are objects. So more than Java, we can say this is much more pure object oriented. This is fine. And we don't have a reverse straight answer to the question is we don't have reverse directly. Maybe if you ask me, can't we reverse a string means why can't we reverse a string? We can, because with coding we can do anything. It's possible. And one important thing, as our friend brought this question, this is very important to understand. String is immutable. We cannot modify it directly. When you can means if it is immutable and if we cannot modify, reversing is something which we should modify the string. We have to keep changing that. So that is why they didn't give you even reverse method in the string API. We are going to talk about all that. Before I jump into the other discussion, as you discussed, right, as you have asked me, like the methods, the API of string class, we will cover this as well. But I'm just giving you an idea how strings work, some real-time use cases, like the scenarios what I apply. And I shared this code with you. I mean, these examples. Apply slicing on this, extract this this dates from this, this file names. This is one scenario that helps you. Of course, there are so many ways of slicing. Fine. Next, after that, this is one more scenario where we need how we handle strings in day-to-day work. So for this, you need to understand many things in that process. We'll talk about next. So this is all about what we had discussed in the yesterday's session. So this gives you some idea about data handling. Even this is data. We do handle a lot of data every day because maybe we don't do data engineering, but still we play with data every day, right? Because our main requirement is managing databases, all environments. So you got it right. All lower lane and prod, archiving databases, everything. So that is why I'm giving you this simple real-time use case so that it might help you to get a deeper insight. Fine. Now coming to this question. No, we don't have a direct reverse here. Why, if you ask me? Because string is immutable. If you ask me what is immutable, let me talk about this. Any object, because you need to learn all this as a developer or as any engineer. When you learn something, this is important. Anything in Python or any language falls into two categories: mutable objects. Another one is immutable objects. Immutable objects. So if you ask me what is mutable object, something which we can modify. What is that? Something which we can modify. That is called mutable. And immutable object means something we cannot modify. So this is immutable. Okay. So, right. So this is something very important. So now the question is, what is immutable? We need to understand string is immutable. Let's get a deeper introspection on this. Suppose you have a string like this, something like a equal to ABC, right? Now, if you print it, let me just open a command prompt just for testing purpose. So and just type in Python and enter. So S1 equal to something like ABC. Enter. So and print it. You got this. Now again, I am assigning a new object, something like BBC. Okay. Again, I am printing it. Right. So the point is, what is the point here? Question is, is this, are we replacing object or creating a new object is the question. Do one thing. S1 in the first case, because we already replaced it, let's do it again. ABC, print it, get the type of it, type of S1. And this is this, and also ID of S1, ID of S1. See, this is the address of S1. Got it right? Just note this. Okay, next after this, again I am modifying S1, BBC. Okay, now you print S1. Okay, fine. And then ID of S1. See, now when I modify, again assign a new object, right, to the same variable. Is it replacing the same existing one or a new object is created is the point here. If you see the IDs in both scenarios, the first case we have object ID ending with 104. In the second case, we have object ID ending with 272. Both are different or same? Quick answer is simple. By looking at that, anyone can answer this. What is that? Both. Every time we try to modify string, it is creating a new address, new object. So means what happened to the old object? It is not getting modified. So that scenario is called immutability. We cannot replace existing object. This scenario, this is called immutable. We cannot modify the object of a string, but we can reassign a new object. Maybe some of you might have again still a bit of confusion, right? So we do one thing now. So what is it? So here, let us take paint. Let me give you more detailed analysis. So here, this is your string object. Let's do one thing. First time I declared a string like this so that you get a clear idea about immutability. And this concept anywhere for any data, any object, if you see something immutability, same explanation is applied. Right. So this gives you overall idea about immutability and mutability. Maybe if anywhere if you see that word, then this gives you a very clear insight about that. Okay, this is a string. First, when you create a string, what happens? Any variable, not only string. So everything is object, right? So what happens in this case? When this is executed, an object is created for this value, which value ABC. So, and that is placed inside object. And this has some address, something like 100. And this address is assigned to some S1 and the 100 is assigned. The address of this object is stored into this reference variable. Okay, you can see 100 here. So this is what happened when you declare this. Fine. So what happens in memory? An object is created and that value is placed inside object and an address is assigned to that. And that address is what happened to that? That is copied to the reference variable, this S1. Now S1 is pointing to this object. Okay, this string object. Now all of a sudden, what did you do? You modified S1. S1 equal to you put BBC. Now our expectation, what is that? We are expecting that this ABC same might be, we might have same object. ABC will be replaced with the BBC. This is what we think or we assume. But in reality, this doesn't happen. So this is not going to happen in case of immutable objects, any immutable object. It won't modify this object. Your interpreter don't modify this. It doesn't touch this object at all. ABC will be still there. And what happens is when you try to reassign a new value, a new object is created. And in that new object, this BBC is placed. And this has a new address altogether. That new address is assigned to this S1. And what happened to this? What happened to this object which S1 is pointing to? Now this is broken. So this is unassigned. Now this S1 is now replaced with 200, not with 100. And S1 is no more pointing to this first object, ABC. And this link to S1 is removed. Now S1 is pointing to which one? The new object BBC. And what happens to this object now then? What happened to this? What happens to this? This object becomes garbage collectible. That's all. So finally, the point here we should observe is this object is modified? Are we modifying this object ABC? Answer is yes or no. When you try to change the string, what's happening? Is it replacing the same object or is it creating a new object? If it is replacing, then it is mutable. And then if it is not replacing, just keeping that object as is and creating a new object and assigning address of new object to the reference, this variable, then this is immutable. Every time you try to modify this, yes, please. Every time you try to modify string, it creates a new object. And that existing object is not modified. And this scenario, we call this as what? Immutability, friends. Any immutable object follows the same scenario, not only in Python, and even in Java, even in C#, anywhere. The concept of immutability is this. Are you following, friends? So this is the idea. So finally, question is, are we replacing the existing object or every time you try to modify a new object is created? That is the question. Answer is, if it is immutable, a new object will be created every time you try to modify that variable. It won't modify the existing one. If it is modifying, then it is mutable. If a new object is created, every time you try to change that variable, then it is immutable. Simple. You got it right, friends? This is one scenario. You should get this clearly. Hope this is fine. So now the question is, you asked me, someone asked me a question, right, friends? Why string is immutable? Why can't we reverse a string? If you reverse a string, every time you try to just do some change on that, what happens, friends? Every time you try to do some change on that, what happens? A new object is created because we are modifying that. Are you following, friends? That's why even if you can check string API in Python, yeah, not only in Python, even in Java also, we don't have direct reverse function. Suppose you open that PyCharm. Let me just show you. Then we'll see. Maybe if you ask me, then can't we reverse a string means? Why can't we reverse a string? Yesterday I have already discussed reversing a string. If you remember, did we discuss reversing a string yesterday or not, friends?
Yeah, by
Yes,
using
right.
math.
Yeah, by using slicing, you remember, right? By applying that step itself, we can do -1. Do you remember, right?
Yes.
Yeah, if you reversing is already discussed, if you ask me. We didn't miss out on reversing. But point is, still that is not, what is that? That is actually a customized reverse. So here, if you see here, just a quick check here. Suppose you see, this is our string. If you want to see if reverse is present here or not, see, let me just show you. You can do some explicit, but inbuilt. Just a minute, it is. Okay, let's take S1 dot. See, the easiest thing with PyCharm is PyCharm has intelligence. If you want to see all methods present in that class, simply you just need to say this one, friends, S1 dot When you say dot, you can see it shows you all list of methods present inside that class. You can see here, right side part is a string class, and these are all the methods and variables are magic variables, everything. Now here, check this API. Anywhere if you can find reverse, just see here, friends. See, inside string class, you don't see any reverse. I'm very sure on this. See, you can check here, just keep observing, right? Do you find R? See, this is where we have R methods. You can reverse methods which starts with R. Can you see reverse anywhere here? We don't see in the API itself because they didn't add that method in the API. Why, if you ask me again, the answer already we had a very detailed discussion. So you can see here this one. You got it right, friends? This is one scenario. Next after that, one more is so this is idea about immutability. Next, one more scenario. This is also you should know. This is something you must know, friends. S1. So finally, is this clear, right? What is mutable? What is immutable? If we can modify object, it is mutable. How can we do that in memory? At memory level, we have clearly discussed in the with the example. If you assign some variable and that is updating the same object, it is mutable. Creating a new object, immutable. Got it right? So that's it. Next, another scenario. This is also very important for you for certifications, for some quizzes, all this. One more important thing. Suppose I have S1 equal to ABC, S2 equal to ABC, S3 equal to ABC. See how many times I declared same object? 3 times. Now I have a question for you, right? This kind of questions you can expect in your exam, I mean certification exams, all that. Even in some interviews, people might ask about immutability. Suppose they say some S4 equal to S1, again S5 equal to S4, they confuse you like this. And finally, S6 equal to, okay, some S4, something like. Now the question is, how many objects are created here? This is one important scenario, not only just for string, same thing is applicable for other primitives as well. How many objects are created in the above declaration? These are questions you see in certification exams because I did 2 certifications on Python so that I know what kind of questions people ask you.
I think
Okay.
3.
How
Total
many
6.
objects are created
Total
in the
6.
above declaration? Yeah, anyone please keep answering. That is more interesting. No problem in the chart or in the you can also
Total,
announce
total,
it.
total
Only
6,
one.
Manu.
Total 6 objects. I got 3 answers. 6 objects is one answer. 3 objects is one answer. Okay, and one more answer is one object is one more answer. How many answers we got here from our
I'm
friends?
just saying only
object,
for
sir.
one object.
One object.
One object from one of our friends, right? Okay, let's do analysis on this and then we come with the answers. Okay. So definitely one of these answer is right answer. No doubt about that. To check this, quickly check this, we don't need to sweat anything. Simply go to the command prompt. Okay. Just say A equal to ABC. Or not, if not command prompt, you can use PyCharm also, friends. If you want to quickly check, you can copy and paste and check here. But let's check from command prompt. For quick testing, we can use this shell. S1 equal to ABC, S2 equal to ABC. Okay, I didn't assign properly. S3 equal to ABC, right? Now, again, what did we do? We did here, you can just let me, yeah. S1 equal to this one. S4 equal to S1. S5 equal to S4. And then S6 equal to S4. Okay, fine. Now check IDs of all these S1, S2, S3, S4, S5, S6. Simple thing. How many objects are created? If you want to see, just check ID of S1. Okay, note that. Just see, observe that. ID of S2. Okay. Import OS dot system of. We don't have direct clear here, so we should apply this, friends. We don't have a choice. Okay, no problem. ID of S1, ID of again S2, ID of S3, ID of S4, ID of S5, ID of S6. So observe this address and tell me how many objects are created. How many addresses do we have for each string variable?
Yeah, same address.
Means this says this is a clear this thing for us. What is that? How many objects are created? Finally, conclusion is
One object.
one object. We don't have 6 objects. We don't have 3 objects. We just have one object. Then again, you might have a question. How this is happening in memory at memory level? Simple. See, because string is immutable, not only string, for any immutable object, this is applicable, not just string, friends. For any immutable object. Suppose you open this again, let's go to the paint. This is scenario 2. This is clear, right? The first one, right? Next. Anyhow, this is in recording. So definitely if you have any doubt, anytime you can go and check on this. But getting a deeper introspection on immutability is very important for you. See, this is what happens. First, I am assigning S1 equal to ABC. What happens? Because string is immutable, what your interpreter always do is, first it will check when you first declare this string. So, is there any object? Sorry, what it do is there any object with this string ABC in memory? It checks. But for now, this is first time we are declaring we don't have any object with this string ABC in memory. So interpreter creates a new object and places ABC in that. Okay, ABC in that, assigns a new address, and that address is copied to this one S1. Okay, and that 100 is placed inside this. Okay, this is fine. So this is what happens for the first time. When you try to declare any string, any immutable object, always interpreter checks if that object exists in memory. If it exists, it won't create new object. But actually, for first time, we don't have anything new, right? So it creates new object, assigns some address, and that address is copied to the reference. This is regular process, it happens. Right, next after that, again what I am doing, again I am saying S2 equal to ABC. This time what happens? This time, your interpreter doesn't create a new object. See, again I am saying S2 equal to ABC. I am trying to assign same object as S1. Then what your interpreter will do? Again, it checks in memory. Is there object ABC exist in memory? Yes, that is there. So then what your interpreter will do? It won't create a new object. It simply copies the address of existing one to S2. Here 100 is placed into S2. Same thing is applied for all other scenarios. Suppose you declare S3 equal to ABC. This time again, what your interpreter does here, it checks if this object exists in memory because these are all immutable, right? If a object is immutable and if that object already exists in memory, your interpreter doesn't create a new object for that. And it doesn't mean that we are violating that rule of immutability. We are not modifying this object. We are just copying the address of this object to other references which are having a similar this thing, same as the other thing. Okay. Now again for S3, what your interpreter will do? It copies the existing one and then assigns that address to the S3. Now here if you see, All these references are pointing to the one string object here, which is ABC. And this is what happens with immutable objects. See, one advantage with this scenario is, what is the advantage here, friends? Any guess? Any wild guess?
Storage.
Definitely, yes.
Memory saving.
Definitely there is a level of memory leverage here. So making it immutable, where when strings are common with for all variables, or when values are common for variables. Maybe because this concept is not just applicable for string, even for our int data or float data as well. You got this, friends? So this is the idea about one more thing about strings. And this is something you can expect in certification exams, friends. And sometimes in interviews. If that interviewer is something like me, he might ask you to understand depth of your understanding in this thing. You got this now? So this is something which we must be very clear with strings, friends. Finally, I think now you can answer this question. How many objects are there, friends? One object, and we have verified that from different sources. We have tested here, and we found for all that 6 objects, we see only one address. Again, why this is only one address? We had a detailed discussion on that. Okay, same thing for 4, 5, and 6 also, because that object already exists in memory and it is immutable, so it won't create new object for that. And such things are immutable objects. So that is the idea here, friends. Okay, so that's all about this one. We covered very important thing. This is really useful thing, friends. Just you can go and check. There will be lots of materials available on this one topic. Okay, next. Iterating we had discussed. We are jumping to the next topic, friends. We are jumping into this one, methods of string classes. Now we had discussed about string introduction and the indexing of how indexing is applied for strings. And then we have seen cell slicing, and then we have seen what is immutability, what is exactly a string. And reversing, if you ask me, we did reverse yesterday. And if you want to see a different reversing, with some coding instead of slicing, still we can do that with program. Suppose we have a string again. Let's take same string because BI data tech. Okay. I want to reverse this, but I don't want to apply slicing. Then the other way is iterating. Right? How do you iterate? Take another string, okay, temp equal to some space here, empty string, just as an empty string. And then what you do you can start from back to front. What you can do, back to front. There is one method. Because we didn't yet completed all methods, so I'm just quickly showing you how to reverse a string through programmatically. For some, okay, char ch in so we apply length here. There is a function length which we can apply on strings. Length of S2. Okay. That gives you length of string. What is length of string? 10. Right? We have to start iterating from, this is, right, the index. This starts with 9. So you have to start iterating. 10 means, right? So it starts with of course, we need range here, no doubt. So put range, pass, what is it? Length of that, -1. Because the last index of this string is 9, right? It starts with 0. We had a clear discussion about indexing yesterday. 0, it starts with 0. And the last indexing comes here is 9, positive. If it is negative, you can start with -1. You can iterate it in 2 ways. There are different ways of handling this. We can start with -1 and come to -9 also. It's up to you. And you can choose both approaches. One approach is apply length and just substitute -1 so that you start with 9. And you have to come till what? -1. Because start is 9, end is 0. If it is 0, we have to just go ahead of one more index. +1 we should always add so that this is excluded and it comes up to 0. This is discussed even yesterday number of times, colon. Now what is that I should do? Temp equal to one approach. This is one approach. Likewise, we can do so many friends. Temp plus ch. Okay, and this you can comment here. Just put this index and comment. Okay, and put this index and comment. Okay, temp equal to, you can apply this one. Temp plus ch. There is something missing here. For ch in range of length of this 4. Okay, sorry, I have to put comma. In the range function, it should be comma, right? And also one more, yeah, this is fine. This is decrementation. One more is we are applying a decrementation, so say -1 here. And finally, print string and print temp. Now run this. Okay, you can maybe just observe the output for this particular thing. That should be enough for us. Okay, the last thing you should, this is a string S2. You can do one thing. Print both strings. So one, the actual string, two, the reversed string. Somebody asked about palindrome. This is palindrome. Now you have a string original and reversed. You should compare that. That's all. We'll see all that one by one. I'll show you. So it's just playing around with just with validations. That's all. Right click and then run this. Just see the output of can only concatenate. Yeah. Okay. I am missing on something again. So what is that here? We are just saying range, but again I missed on which part. Let me just.
Sir, nowhere we are picking that
Yes,
characters,
yes.
right, from the
Connecting,
string.
connecting. Yes, yes. I am linking that now. So this is just index. And we have to extract it from string, right? So what is that I should do is I should say S2 of I. Yeah, this should give us reversed string. Now this definitely should get us some, because we cannot directly concatenate integers. That is the issue. But we'll or a string with integer directly. We'll come to that in concatenation. We discussed that in concatenation operator. But for now, I missed to apply indexing here. So we just corrected it now. Now this should work for us. See, is this reverse? This is original string. This is reversed string. Perfect. So this is one approach. Somebody asked because I am trying to answer with the, not just answering. It's not like just our friend asked me a question, but also there is a lot of learning in this. So I am covering this. This needs
this was asked
discussion.
in recent interview, sir.
Sorry, Shiva sir.
This was asked in recently in one of the interview. Without using colon, they asked me to reverse these things.
Yeah, then understand. See, this is something really useful to you.
Yes.
Actually, I'm not aware of that, Shiva sir, but this helps, right?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, see, that is the importance of this, friends. Sometimes people ask you, this is a simple hack code, simple hacking code, but to test your knowledge, because this very basic person do this, friends. This reversing, what is this? This one, applying -1 or something. But to understand your coding, this thing, knowledge, they try to ask some scenarios like this and test you how far you can think on certain things. Is that okay, friends? So this is about reversing a string without using slicing. Also, this is not just one thing. Using negative indexing also you can do reversing. You have that negative index, right? What is that? -1 to minus this one, 9. You can apply that and reverse also. Let me, if you want, maybe you do one thing, give it a try. At the end of this string discussion, I will show with that also. You give it a try, just test it yourself. I showed you one approach. You try with the other approaches. So this is the code. If it is not in right format, I do one thing. So let me just share you. Okay, friends, is that clear now? So this is, I think we covered good things, something really useful for you about string and mutability, and then all different something related to your certifications. And then also we have discussed about reversing a string without slice. There is one more approach, not just one more, there might be multiple. I tried reversing with a positive index. Maybe you will give a try reversing with negative index, -1 to -9, iterate it and see how it comes. I can just do it in just a matter of half minute or so. But I want you to just think and try it, friends. At the end of this, strict topic, again, I will show you that with negative indexes as well. So that's all about this. Let's jump to the next topic. What is that? We have a beautiful PPT prepared by our Shiva sir. So I'm using this for now. So this is Python string methods. Next, one more important thing is, what is that, friends? So we covered all this. Functions in string class, or functions or methods of string class. First point. So this is anyhow, we iterated it, friends. Iteration, all that is discussed, right? You know, what is string? It is a class. What is a class? Class is collection of variables and methods. If you ask any class, any language, C++, Java, C# or Python, of course, we have very detailed discussion on OOP. You really like that. But for now, a quick info is, what is a class? A class is collection of variables and methods. Got it right, friends? It is collection of variables and methods. Inside a class, just what do we have? Just variables and methods, that's all. If you properly understand functions topic, friends, there is nothing with classes, because we just put functions and variables together and we call it as a class. But okay, we'll talk about it later. But in a quick, this thing, what is class? Class is simple, which it just has variables and methods. Okay, now what is string now? We know string is a built-in or predefined class. What is it? It is a built-in or predefined class. Okay, fine. And if it is any class has variables, methods. Now we are talking about methods, because for predefined classes, mostly we focus more on methods. Okay, so in any classes, we have these functions or methods, and these are important for us to do our development. And generally, what methods we apply here on this string method, on string classes? So there are two types of functions here: generic methods and functions in string class. What are generic methods? We directly apply on these strings. They are not part of that string class. These methods are not inside string class, like for example, length, or something like sort, or something like max, min, average. Average is not there, max, min, these kind of methods. There are certain methods. I'll just give you a quick list of few of those methods, like max, min, length. Okay, and then sort, and then there are methods like this. And these are what we call, these are generic methods. They are not inside string class. If you say a class, there are methods present inside that class, which are just directly applied on that class. If you directly apply, they are generic, something like length of s. Right? There are functions which are inside a string class. How to differentiate both? Which are generic methods, which are methods present in a string class? Simple, friends, very simple. Suppose you say that string name dot, or that string variable dot. And if you call some method, suppose you say split, you call it. Right? How am I calling this? I am calling split method from string class through string variable or string reference. So these are all what? These are methods present inside string class, part of string API. These are part of what? String API. Are you following, friends? And suppose length one, you can see length. And how am I calling length? Length of S2. Just I am directly calling it. Am I calling length like saying S2 dot len like this? Like how I am calling split, am I calling length in the same way? There is difference, right? we have difference, or we can see a difference the way we call length and the way we call split. If you are calling a method like this, it is a generic one, directly applying all strings. They are part of your Python API. You can call them directly. And these are not just applied only string. These are applied on any data structure, or like list or set or tuple or anything, friends. Okay. So this is the quick idea. So when you talk about what is a class means, it has variables, methods. And again, if you ask me what methods are there here, means two types of methods exist. Generic methods we directly apply on that objects, and functions inside that classes. And we call this through that variables are references. Okay. These are all methods of, you can see here. Let me just show you what are part of string classes. These are all, see. Length, of course, it is a generic one. This lower, this upper, you can see the list here. See, upper, lower, strip, split, join, replace, find, starts with, ends with, capitalize, title, is digit, is alpha, is null, count, L strip, R strip, center, jet fill, swap case, all these friends. And we have few more as well. But these are all important methods what we have in string class, string API. You don't see length here. Why? Because length is not part of string class. They are generic methods. You got it right? So these methods are very straightforward, friends. The upper, lower, all this. We'll go one by one here. And these are important for you. Understanding this alpha num is this jet fill, swap case, all that. We'll start doing one by one now. Let's do it now. We'll try to discuss each and every. We will quickly test all these methods. Maybe if not today, by tomorrow we complete this whole scenarios. Okay, we'll do some of this now, which we can directly apply it here. Now you see upper. What is this upper method? Converts lowercase to uppercase. Suppose you take this, we'll directly test it. I'm just taking one more file, not to mix everything in one file. I name this as new Python file, and then string methods. Okay. Sorry, friends. So now take this string. And then to convert this to uppercase, you don't need to get to the PPT, friends. Not needed. It's so simple in this kind of Python language. You just you can do one thing. If you want to assign, preserve that converted string, then you can say some text to equal to that string dot. What do you want? You want to convert it to upper, right? See, you have directly a method upper. Just call that. It will directly convert your string to upper. Now print that both strings. What is that? Print of if you want, you can apply this. So what is it? Text. Okay, this is one thing. Maybe if you want to add any description, you can add it. Next, after that, again, same copy and paste it. And then paste it and then print text too. So if you think you need any description, you can add it, friends. Right click and then run this. And you can see the difference, right? This is lowercase, this is uppercase. Only thing you just need to remember that word upper, that word lower, that word split. That's all, friends. That simple it is in Python. Okay. Next after that is weighted that. Lower means same thing, right? Reverse to that. So what you can do here in the same thing, apply. This is converted string, right? Test2 is uppercase. Then what? So what I can do now? Simply take text3 equal to text2 dot. Just apply lower functions. Straightforward. This is so simple in this one, friends. Okay. Text2 dot lower and then just print it now. That's all. You get again that whatever string text2 which is in uppercase, we are converting and assigning that text2 to text3. Okay, now assign that to print text3. You get lowercase of, again, so you can see this. But if you just apply lower on some string, it won't be completely, it won't make this change inside the object. It won't make this change as a permanent change in that object. Suppose you are saying text2 not lower, definitely text2 gets converted to lowercase. This one gets converted to lowercase, but that is a temporary change. And that is not that is not a permanent change on text2. You got it right? Because your reason is very simple. When you apply lower, you are trying to modify that object on that text2 object. When you are modifying, all this change happens in altogether a new object, friends. Remember that. And that new object is assigned to text3. Got it? So this is the idea. Now, again, you can see that this is how lower works. But looking at these examples, you find this very simple, right, friends? Next after that. So we did lower, we did upper, and then strip. Strip means removing spaces, friends. You can see here, right? Sometimes when you are working in some string handling, we have spaces at the beginning, we have spaces at the end. But if you ask what about the middle, we cannot strip something in the middle, friends. That acts as a character. Still, if you want to remove it, then you have to write a customized code. That's all. But if you have a space in the beginning of a string or end of a string, which is what we call leading and trailing spaces. If you want to remove that, just apply strip. Strip removes spaces. That's all, simply, friends. So you can take this string now and you can apply here and you can simply say text4 equal to hello world. Okay, you can see there. This time this hello world has a space at the beginning and space at the end. If you want to remove only space at the left side of string, L strip, right side of string, R strip, both sides of a string, strip. There are three different functions to remove spaces. Only left side space, beginning space of a string, L strip, R strip, strip. So now you apply this. What is that? So you can directly, if you want, you can copy it to another string, right? Text4 dot strip. Okay, print text5. If you want, you can print text4 as well, but you can directly print text5 as well. It's up to you, friends. I'm printing both for our observation. Okay, right click and run this. See, you can see some change in this. Some little, it is moved. This one is moved little to the right because there is a space. Got it right? There is a slight change in the alignment of hello world. This one, which is having spaces. But after strip, you can see again that changed here. You can see. So that's it, friends. That is strip again. Next, after that, once we do strip, next is split. This is something really important because not every time you do upper, lower, all that, but this is really important, friends. Split is really important because we apply this number of times in the code, right? So now even I keep playing around split number of times in our day-to-day automations. So what is split here? Split splits a string into tokens. So what split does? Splits this string into list of substrings. That substring you can call token or right words or anything finds. And based on some delimiter, this is important. That delimiter might be a space, it might be a slash, it might be a hash, there might be any deal, comma, it might be colon, like that. So that we see in tomorrow's session because split is important. At least I need 5 to 10 minutes. I want to take up a small mini project on this and show you. So we will do this in tomorrow's session. We'll continue from there. Got it, friends? So this is all about what? About string today. So this is something, all this, whatever we discussed, definitely You definitely see this either in your development, use them in your development or somewhere in the interviews. No doubt, or in certification exams, what we discussed today, friends. Okay. That's all for today, friends. If you have questions, please let me know. We'll discuss. Else, we'll again catch up tomorrow.